The Charlotte Hornets have been one of the most unfortunate franchises in the past decade, making the playoffs just twice, with both playoff appearances resulting in first-round exits. The team has seen its fair share of high draft picks over that time span, selecting players such as Kemba Walker, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Cody Zeller, Noah Vonleh, Frank Kaminsky, and Malik Monk with their lottery picks, all guys who have either come and gone, or guys who haven't panned out the way they wanted them to. However, in recent years, the team seems to be moving in the right direction, selecting promising players in PJ Washington and acquiring Miles Bridges on draft night, two young guys who have shown some promise on the offensive end. They've also been able to pick up some diamonds in the rough, such as Devontae Graham, who just had a breakout season. However, this past season was more of the same results, as the Hornets finished just 23-42, led by that same breakout season by Devontae Graham, as well as solid seasons from new signee Terry Rozier and young guys Bridges and Washington. Clearly, the goal for this team is to make the playoffs next season, so let's take a look at what the team has done this offseason in order to try and accomplish that goal. Looking at how the offseason has gone for the Hornets, let's begin in free agency. At the start of the free agency period, the team saw a couple of guys set to test their value on the market, with Nicholas Batum, Bismack Biyombo, Willy Hernangomez, and Dwayne Bacon set to be free agents. The former two are coming off some of the worst contracts in the league, and Batum initially wanted to accept his $27 million player option, and for good reason given how he's been injury prone over the past couple of seasons, but the Hornets cut their losses with him and waived him, resulting in him joining the Los Angeles Clippers. As for Biyombo, the team was able to re-sign him for a much better deal than his previous $18 million a year at just $3.5 million per year for a single season. Willy Hernangomez parted ways with the team after just appearing in 31 games, signing with the New Orleans Pelicans. And finally, Dwayne Bacon also parted ways with the team after 3 years, electing to take his talents to the Orlando Magic. Though it may seem like Charlotte lost some decent role players, the fact of the matter is that all of them were definitely replaceable and nothing to write home about. And when looking at their signings, it does seem that this team finally did get better rather than worse. The team's biggest signing of free agency was definitely Gordon Hayward, who the team was able to acquire in a sign-and-trade deal with the Boston Celtics on a 4-year, $120 million deal. And though this may seem like a steep buying price for a player of Hayward's caliber, given that he averaged just 17.5 points last season, and considering his injury history, you have to remember that this is Charlotte we're talking about, a place that stars usually never have on their radar given that they're a small market team, and they have some of the worst management we've seen in years. And given that the cap is technically supposed to rise with every given season passing, it will seem as later on that the deal for Hayward will not be as bad as it seems now. In Hayward, the team is getting a very good scorer who can do it all on the offensive end, whether it be on or off the ball. His game should be a great complement to ball-dominant guys such as Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham, as well as rookie LaMelo Ball. However, aside from signing Hayward and re-signing Biyombo, as well as guaranteeing Devontae Graham's contract through the end of this season, the team hasn't really made any other offseason moves. The team unfortunately doesn't have much left in terms of cap room, so they'll probably just keep it moving and wait for next season. They may acquire some veterans for the vet minimum, but that's the only thing I see really changing with their roster. However, as we all know, arguably the biggest acquisition to the team was none other than LaMelo Ball, easily the most polarizing player of the 2020 draft, and has one of the highest bust or one of the highest all-star potentials. Listed at 6'8", 181 pounds, and definitely still growing, LaMelo is a wizard when he has the ball in his hands, and he's arguably the best ball handling and passing player in the draft. He seems to glide whenever he's on the court and whenever he has the ball in his hands, using misdirection and changes of speed in order to get to the basket, where he's able to use said size and creativity to give us one of the best finishing packages we've seen in this year's draft. He has the ability to finish with either hand, float it over the top of bigs, hit them with a reverse layup, and even throw it down in transition. Though there are some concerns when it comes to his jumper given his unorthodox form, and the fact that during his time in Australia he shot just 37.5% from the field and 25% from the three-point line on a whopping 7 attempts per game. There are also concerns when it comes to his defense given the film we saw of him in Lithuania and Australia on top of his skinny frame, but it's hard to deny that there is a lot of potential in this kid. He's still growing, and if he can fill out his frame, he can potentially be a player who can play and guard the 1-3 position, and be one of the most versatile perimeter players in the league on both ends of the court. Another pick that I like for the Hornets is the 32nd pick, Vernon Carey Jr., a more traditional type of center. Standing at 6'10", 270 pounds, he has the potential to be a very solid player in the league one day due to his scoring touchdown low and his rebounding ability. I expect him to not see a lot of time this year behind Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo, but he should be able to crack the rotation in his second year in the league. Overall, the Hornets did take steps in the right direction this offseason. With a core of Rozier, Hayward, Ball, Graham, Bridges, and Washington, Charlotte has a solid group of young guys and seasoned veterans, which should bode well for them in their chase for that coveted playoff spot. Whether or not they'll finally make the playoffs will depend heavily on the team's effort on the defensive end, as well as improved play from the young guys. This team has the chance to sneak into the playoffs as the 7th to 8th seed, but more than likely they'll be seeing another year out of the playoffs. But remember, this is just my opinion, so let me know in the comments below what you think the Hornets are going to do this season. Do you think they're going to be a playoff team, or do you think they'll absolutely tank once more? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe with post notifications as well. I'd appreciate the support very much. And with all that being said, thanks again for watching the video, and as always, have a good one.